Okay, so we're back. So the other night I got this thing running, tuned as much as I could, and I had it running. Well, it was running bad, but it was running good enough that you could probably drive it and go down the road with it. But I'm giving up on the carburetor. So I took that other one I had and I made a plug for it, cleaned it up real good. I even soaked it in some acid. And it looks okay. This one actually has a manual choke on it. This is a DGV as well. So we're gonna pop this bad boy on there and see if it runs any better. And I really hope it does. I'm a bit perturbed by the situation with the vacuum because it's behaving like it's got, like the timing has jumped, or maybe somebody put a head on it, maybe, which it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, everything's kind of corroded underneath this thing. Typically when you get like a reman head or something like that, what happens is they bead blast it. So it's got some texture to it. It doesn't look like the head did originally, and you have the casting and such. So you'll have machined parts where it's actually got a shiny surface to them. And then the rough cast parts which still kind of have a sheen to them, where when they bead blast them, it's all just one texture. And a lot of times too they paint them silver. But this head looks like a factory head. I can't see down inside of it. It's got a baffle of some kind. Let's see. Yeah, I can't really see in there. So I mean, it doesn't look like it's ever been off. I was thinking, well, maybe they put a head gasket in it and the guy didn't get the timing right. Having a timing jump on one of these things, when they jump, they take the engine out. You know, when the timing chain breaks or jumps, it destroys a lot of parts on these things. And you'll hear a lot of 22Rs, especially, rattling because the timing chain guides have gone bad, and that's usually around 140,000, I think. So I don't think that's the problem. I seriously doubt it's ignition timing, because I can go over there and play with the timing, and I can get it running pretty good by ear. And it's only pulling 14 and a half, 15 inches of vacuum. So, the other thing it could possibly be is a huge vacuum leak. And I have tuned the carburetor enough that it is able to almost idle. Yeah, idles at a fast idle. And maybe that's the issue. But what is there? Because this manifold doesn't really have any vacuum ports. You've got one back here that goes to the brake booster, which, I mean, the brake booster seems like it's working like it's supposed to. I could clamp that off. Like, for instance, if I have this thing running and it's kind of idling like crap, but it's idling, and then I go over there and I pinch that hose off and suddenly it starts idling smooth, well, there you go, there's our vacuum. I don't think that's the problem. You've got this vacuum tree, which had another tree branch growing off of it. This guy. So this thing has three outlets, one inlet. I took it off and I put a nipple on it and ran it to the PCV because there wasn't anywhere to put the PCV. The idiot before had it hooked to the EGR. And I even put my thumb over the PCV because a lot of times that you do that and it'll richen up the mixture, but it didn't make any difference on this. I can close the choke and then it'll smooth out. Of course, it'll also speed way up. So maybe it's just that the carburetor is that bad. So we're going to find out here pretty soon. We're going to put this bad boy on there. I got to find the spring, the throttle return spring that fell underneath the damn car. So we're going to put this thing on. We're going to fire it up, and we're going to see what happens. And we'll see. And then I'll be back out here tomorrow working on it too. This is going to keep me up all night until I hear this thing run. So, we'll be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Okay, and here we go. I still have the fuel pump wire to the lights. I'm going to go in here, turn the key, see what happens. Well, it seems almost the same. Now, I just saw smoke out there, and of course the starter didn't want to stop cranking, which I'm going to blame on that relay, because if I've got power going through the headlights and it's back feeding into the ignition system or starting system, then it makes sense why it wouldn't be working. I need to go get my timing light and actually check the timing, and if I can find my other little thing, check the dwell on this. Because that could be the problem all along. It could just be really, really, really bad dwell. Okay, so I'm going to let this thing warm up, and we will see what is happening from there. Okay, I got it down to about 1,000 RPM, still a bit high. You can hear the exhaust. It's got a little bit of a burble to it. I think the timing is over advanced. So that's our next step. Got my dwell meter tack here. I need to go hook it up to power. Got my timing light hooked up. Just need to find the timing marks and get over this cord. There isn't really much adjustment in the idle speed anymore, but and that's it. So that brings me back down to 16.5 inches. So whatevs. I'm going to go ahead and check the timing. So pretty good. Really isn't good enough. I got it idling halfway decent. Sitting here on 1100 RPM. We're pulling 17.5, 18 inches of vacuum. Timing, I really can't tell. It's way off as far as the marks go, but it sounds good, so I think the harmonic balancer might have slipped. But this. Not really sure what's going on there. So let's figure that out. There's always tomorrow. It's getting kind of late, so that's it for the night. I'm going to call this a fail. It's not running that great at idle, but good enough for me to get by on. I could drive it. It'd probably get better as I drive it, but once you rev it up, it just does not want to go. And to be honest with you, it really doesn't seem fuel related to me. I don't have $100 to drop on another core Weber. I sure as hell don't have a $300 to drop on a new one. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look into maybe bypassing the igniter and just running it straight off the points through the resistor. See if that makes a difference. As far as the fuel pump goes, I still haven't figured out what's going on with the power there. Looking at the pinouts on the relay, and it seems like the power is doing what it's supposed to do. Doesn't make any sense. There's a resistor up there by the igniter that I haven't checked yet, so that might be it. Apparently that's a pretty common failure point, but I gotta pull the igniter apart to get to it. Yeah, so you can't drive it yet, not the way it's running. So I need to go through the ignition system. The points look great, but I'm going to go ahead and file them anyway just to check. And the point gap is fine. My dwell meter doesn't work. Maybe I'll take it in the house and tear it apart and see if I can figure out what's up with it. Follow the points to see if that's the issue. This thing has some weird computers on it. Spark control computers that are supposed to retard the timing. That could definitely be giving me fits. I don't know, because it's almost ready. I mean, frankly, if it was running pretty good tonight, like the idle issue, but if it revved up fine and did like it was supposed to, which it seems like it was earlier. I don't remember doing this. So, if it was running okay, I could live with the idle. I could drive it, but not now. I could go and get tags on it. I get tires on it though, actually, because these tires are about to blow up. Especially that front right one's got 3 bulges in it that are just full of cracks. And the timing, I can do timing by ear if I hear a ping. Turn on retarded timing. So one of the cool things about these old Toyotas is they had the little wheel on the distributor, so you can kind of fine tune it. It goes like 5 degrees or something like that. Charging system works. Shit. So it's disappointing for sure. Getting into that forward momentum thing. I'm taking 3 steps back now and haven't taken any forward. So there are other jobs that I can do actually. Like I can stop messing with the running, the carburetor, all that crap for a couple days, and I can mess with other things that I know I can have success. I can start putting in the seats. I can, work on this filler neck in the back. I could do all that kind of stuff, and I know I could be successful, and that would make me happy again, and then we could get back on these more difficult things. It's always good to take a step away from it rather than let it burn you out. Well, something I want to show you here on the inside that I did get done last week. So, spent some time, I vacuumed it all out. I chiseled all the undercoating, or the sound deadening tar, whatever the heck it was, out of the interior. You can see my rust. That's about the worst of it, actually, except over by the rockers. These corners right there. And then there, and there's a bad spot back here. You see a big hole all in that corner. It's kind of a bad place, but I think I could be okay. I got towards the end, and I cheated. You can kind of see the spots. I just started hitting it with the hammer, and it just started breaking it up. So I put a bunch of dimples in the back, but who cares? Yeah, damn it. So close, yet so far away. So that's going to do it for tonight. I'll get back on it tomorrow when Luke's done with his school. And, I'll probably work on the filler neck, get that put together, and see where we're going to go. But it's late. It's time to go in. I'm going to go sit down, put my feet up, maybe drink a barley pop, and go from there. I will see you guys tomorrow. Alrighty, so it's a new day. It's not raining. Clouds are wispy. Sun is kind of poking through a little bit. It's not too cold. Good day. Still got a little bit of burnout last night on this thing with it not running right. I'm pretty sure it's in the ignition system, but not the carburetor, because it was pretty well running the same way with the other carburetor. A little worse. Now it's a little better. Not better enough, though, to justify all the bullshit. So last night I tried to put my dwell meter on this thing, and the dwell meter itself wasn't working well. I opened it up and it had a bunch of water in it. So I took it apart, dried it all out, cleaned it, and I think it's okay. It's been out of the rain. It's been sitting in my shed, which is damp, of course. Everything's damp here, and apparently it got damp enough to build up condensation inside of it, which really bothers me. So I've got this thing. Let me show it to you here. I picked this thing up in like brand new condition at Goodwill for 14 bucks, I think. 9 bucks, I don't remember. And it worked great. Hopefully it still does. However, Matt, my buddy with the Mustang, gave me a few things that he wasn't going to drag with him. He gave me this bad boy. So this does all the stuff that this guy does, plus some. And I mean, I took it anyway, but it looked like the cables are missing until this morning. I turned it around, and look at this. Not only are all the cables here, the instructions are here. I'm going to try out the little guy. Ooh, look at that. Wow, that is an old Duracell. I'm going to get that out of there. Uh-oh. Is it welded to it? That might even be the original Duracell. Hey, that's not a... Oh, yeah, it is. Give me a second here. I'll get that out of there before it... Although I don't think it's going to do anything more damage-wise. Hey, what?
You're not filming.
I'm filming. What's up, Luke?
Well, I think we should jinx under the house.
I doubt it, but okay.
Ember is also under there.
Okay. Look at
I don't
that.
know, he said it in the room.
Oh. Caca. Okay. Hopefully it'll work without it. I don't think it needs that to check the dwell. Dwell. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to hook up the little guy and see if it's still working and fire this bad boy off. See you in a bit. Okay, so the meter appears to be working correctly. And according to this, we're sitting on about 40 degrees of dwell. And we need to be around 50 to 54. Peg. Okay, so if I remember correctly, more dwell is less gap. So we're going to shut it off, we're going to close our points up a little bit, and see what happens. Okay, so with this camera you can't really see too well. But what I'm going to do, you need a smaller screwdriver here. Loosen up this side. There's a little notch in the end there, and you can kind of put the blade of the screwdriver on either end of the notch and turn it and go in or out with it. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're sitting on 52. I'm going to call that a win. So now that we've adjusted the dwell, the timing is going to be off. So I'm going to have to work on that, and then I'll go back and play with the mixture again. Well, I figured out why the timing was so retarded. I had that really bad stutter. Let me show you. We'll put the timing back around where it needs to be, right? Let me watch this vacuum gauge here. So that's roughly a good point, right? It's idling okay. It's at about 1,000 RPM. Sounds pretty good. It's not shaking really bad. The exhaust note isn't too bad. Now check this out. When we rev it up, bouncing around all over the place. It's chugging out of the exhaust. Now, we'll go back over here and we will retard it until it's just barely running. We're pulling 10 inches of vacuum. And watch this. Running smooth. Somebody tell me what the hell's going on. Look at that. Look at how slow that is. I don't get it. The only other thing I can think of is hooking this thing straight to manifold vacuum and seeing what difference it makes there. You know, I'm sure that's how it was hooked up originally, but that doesn't make a lot of sense for it to run like this anyway. So I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to lock this thing down, retarded, and hook it to manifold vacuum and see what happens. I can't imagine it running worth a damn though that way, so we'll see. Well, there you have it. Dwell is lost a little bit, but I don't think that's a problem. See, my RPMs are about 650.
Looks like it's running pretty good.
Yeah.
And what it didn't say.
About 650, 700. It's smooth. When you rev it up, no more chugging, no more missing. Still not as smooth as glass like I like it, but good enough to drive. Vacuum's around 17 inches. The harmonic balancer, I got the timing light back out, but the timing marks don't line up. So, I don't know. This thing is odd. I'm guessing it's something with the emission system. You know, the computer is supposed to retard timing or adjust timing accordingly. Yeah, we still have that little burble there, like the timing's a little over advanced at idle, but we'll see. I mean, it might ping like hell going down the road. I don't know. We'll find out. There are a few things I still need to do. Well, I got to figure out this electrical problem. And I got this. Since this knob was missing, I found just a cheap black round shifter knob to throw on it. So, the electrical issue I probably talked about off and on. It's definitely an oddity. Let's see. You know, yesterday when I just wanted to see if it would move under its own power, it obviously did not. See, I've got about 700 RPM out there, and I've got about 1,000 here. So, and I don't know if you can notice that little flat spot. Yeah, with the timing hooked up this way, there's no vacuum, or there's no vacuum advance because it's already there. So, I don't know. Something's not right. Anyway, so yesterday when I tried to move it, it wouldn't move because it had that horrible mess. Oh shoot, there's a bee on me. Ah! Look. Yeah, that's good enough to drive. All right. Okay. Shut it down. Don't know where the hell that bee went.
Why'd you stop it?
Okay, so anyway, there's something else I need to do. Okay, we're back on the celica. So one thing I'm going to do, you can see these are in terrible, terrible shape. So we're going to start with them. These things here, the style, you know, we just got the 2 bolts and they're kind of clamping there. These are temporary use. These are not supposed to be meant to be a full-time, 100%, you know, replacement. Now that being said, I've got one that the neighbor gave me. It's probably 40 years old, kicking around in his toolbox, still in the package. And since somehow between the truck and here I had 2 of these, I lost one. I'm going to have to use that other crappy one temporarily. So I'll get this thing apart and I will show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, so you really can't see here, but this is pretty corroded, pretty crusty. You can see it's been getting hot right there. I know there's been a problem because there's been a couple times I've had to come out and just touch the cable and it'll suddenly start cranking over on its own. So we will do away with this, strip it back. Oh wow, look at that. Huh. Looks like we might have a bigger problem than I thought. Okay, so one thing that happens with this when they get corroded real bad is they look alright on the outside, but on the inside, right down the center of the cable, they will be corroded. And electricity does not flow through the middle of a cable. It flows on the surface. Yeah, see, look at that. It's all green. You can't tell. The outside of it just looks like rusty, burnt, nasty old copper, but the inside of it is green, green, green. Let's see. See if I can unravel this a little bit to show you better. Yeah, see, you can see it there. Right down the middle. So we're going to strip this back a little and see, but I don't have a whole lot of slack there. Okay, so here's the terminals I like to use. They're a little more like a factory thing. It's kind of like a marine terminal. It goes around, has the little stud and a nut. It does not, it's not lead. It's nickel plated, copper plated steel. It uses these lugs that you crimp on or solder on. Those are the ones I like to use. And there we are. Temporary, permanent. So now we're going to hop on the inside and start playing with relays and trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, did a couple things. I found all this wiring here. There was a couple wires that were spliced here in the harness. Scotch locks everywhere. Took all that crap out. There's this rheostat up here. It's a switch. Turn it on and then you adjust whatever. I'm pretty sure that that is a remote switch for an aftermarket wiper delay. So I took it out because it wasn't working, and I noticed that a lot of times the low speed on the wipers wouldn't work and then they wouldn't park when you shut them off. So I took that out and now everything seems to be working fine. On the wipers anyway. And all that. Fuel pump wise, I could not make that relay work. So I just went ahead and ran the ignition terminal of the relay into the fuel pump terminal of the relay and unplugged it. Because if you do that, it back feeds into the starter. You don't want to just do it and leave everything connected. So now when you turn the key on, listen carefully. There you go, fuel pump. Now this guy right here, this brake warning light, should be on right now because the parking brake is on. There's another relay that's not working, and I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Yeah. See, it comes on with the start to tell you the bulb is working, but the actual warning part isn't working. But that is not the end of the world. There are more important things to worry about on this than that. So what I'm going to do next is go out there. See, this is the switch. Hold on. There's the switch. How does that bad boy work? I don't know. Again, it's not that critical. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is go out there and open the bleeder on the slave cylinder and see if it doesn't bubble a little bit and let some air out of it, because I still got, see, a little bit of air before it starts to engage. And the brakes need a lot of work. They need to be bled. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so that's that. We are running about as good as this thing's going to run. Tomorrow, if it's not raining, we'll go for a test drive. Man, this windshield is scratched. Huh. Oh well. Yeah. We'll go put a couple miles on this thing and see how well it does. Kind of see. Oh, bye. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath. But, yeah, I gotta get this all cleaned up in here anyway, so at the very least we could back it out, clean it all up, put it back in. So what did we do today? Let's see. Today we got this thing tuned and timed and running decent. Maybe some people think it's pretty good, but I'm not real happy with it. Maybe good enough though. Got it running decent. Got the brakes bled, thanks to Luke coming out here and helping me do it. Got the clutch bled. I guess you could say the wiring solved. It's not solved really. I don't know what the problem was. It might have just been a bad relay, but it was clicking. It just wasn't doing anything. So I bypassed it. So we've got 12 volts going to the pump. I don't think this pump draws as much current as the original pump did. So we should be okay, although I'll probably take it all out of there and put a Bosch relay in it. So we got that done. I guess that's probably about it. Took all that wiring out for the whatever that thing was, the delay valve, wiper delay module or something. So we'll see. It may or may not be enough. I guess we'll find out. I suppose if I do drive it tomorrow and it does pretty good, then the next step will be tires and tags, and I can start driving it. There's still a few rust spots I need to patch in here. I'm about out of screws though. If I go down tomorrow, I do need to go get gas though before I test drive it. So if I go down tomorrow and get gas, I'll stop off at Lowe's and get some more tech screws. That way I can patch up all these holes. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go in, rest, put my feet up, play with the cat, call it good. You guys take care.